Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Right on.
How about you guys?
We're good. These guys aren't quite here yet, so they'll be coming up probably right when we started. But I let them know we started, so that's a deal.
Cool.
Yep. Diane's going to be working until about lunchtime today. I'll sit down. I had some ideas this morning, so we'll go over there with some things to think about and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this one's going to go fun.
Well, good. Well, we're gathering an audience, and yeah, we'll get started in 3 minutes.
Good morning, Chris. What's going on?
There we are. It's Wednesday again. It's sometimes it's Wheel Wednesday, sometimes it's Wagon Wednesday. I don't know.
Yeah. So is this a new? We always talk about it. What's on the shirt?
Well, this one I've had for a long time now, but it is a Volkswagen bus with I guess a 23 window bus, maybe 21 window. I can't tell, but surfboard on top.
21 window, man. That's we're in our 17-year-old's dream vehicle. She loves those things.
Oh, they're well, she's gonna need to save her pennies for a long time if she wants one.
Yeah, I showed her one, and it was it sold for almost $300,000.
Yeah, I believe it.
Crazy. I was like, wow. So it's funny because Chris is sitting here, everybody. He's like, yeah, this one. He's all modest. This one I've had for a long time. It's the first freaking time I've ever seen it. He's had so many damn so many of these shirts that I've had it for a long time, but I haven't even seen it. So I mean, that's okay. Yeah, I feel bad for you. So hey, this is kind of a fun one.
Yeah.
Innovations and profitizing from it. And we're going to go way back. We're going to go into the time machine and kind of take in and look way back and share some of the things that why you guys, everybody needs to be keeping their eyes open, because simple inventions have changed the game. And we're going to go through and kind of show you that. And the reason why we're going is to appreciate the current times in the future, you got to kind of look at the past every once in a while. And I was there for some innovations that we now just take for granted, but I remember the first time I ever laid eyes on them. And so we'll talk about that. So we got a class this week. So great team, 4 students, one mentor, intern. They're just going to be walking in right now.
Very good. Those guys doing all right this week?
They're doing good. They're finishing up with interiors with Diane. We go straight into sanding headlights this afternoon. Then we go into all the wet work prep, and then they'll be sanding their butts off. So they're just walking in right now. They'll come over and join us. We got some cool shit. So I mean, get a pen out, take notes, take mental notes, or just say you guys are kind of goofy and we didn't get anything out of it. So wow, we got all kinds. Karen, good morning. Antonio, good morning. Shane, hello. Mike, good morning. Adam, what's up, dude? PNS, Frank is on. Let's see here. Nope. Frank's saying good morning to Frank and Greg. So we got a lot of good mornings. Good morning to all of you. So, let's go back, and I'm going to stall a little bit because I want these guys. Come on over, guys. When you get a chance, we're gonna launch you guys. Come on over. And so we're gonna take. I think it's gonna be fun, and we'll walk through this. Where as always, the podcast brought to you by PNS Products. We're really excited that they support us.
Hey, Renny, real quick, I'm getting a bad connection from you right now. Yeah, it froze up. Not yet. Let me make sure. Yeah, I hope we didn't lose it. Well, I still got you, but it's coming in choppy.
What's going on with our? We just kind of
Yeah, it's maybe you want to try just dropping out and coming back in, seeing if that helps us at all.
Happens. All right, be right back.
Actually, you might be back now.
Okay, how's that? I just restarted.
Okay, well, we're good. That's better.
Okay, I'm gonna get Diane. Hey, Diane, you listening? Yeah, we gotta get the internet company back out. So
yeah. Oh, look. Now I'm getting good strength on you, so I think we're good.
Boy, sorry guys, I don't know what the heck's going on with this thing. So have a seat, guys. Go ahead and have a seat. These guys are just walking up right now. We'll get going on this. So innovations, let's talk about it. Is that, innovations and things that have changed. Everybody thinks of big stuff, but some of the little things have been some of the biggest game changers. Is that let's go all the way back. What's innovations right now that we're all dealing with that have changed the industry, and that's coatings. I don't know if there's a single thing out there that has changed the game as much as coatings, but now everybody looks at coatings as the game changer. But without a lot of other things changing, coatings really wouldn't matter because, for instance, if we didn't have good machines, if you had to go back and rotary everything, both steps like we used to, or you had to go rotary everything and then come out with a porter cable. And not that the porter cable is a bad machine. There's just better machines. Innovation. We're talking about innovation. Now let's go one step greater. What about clay? Look at how much clay has changed. Of going over to synthetic clay. Now, not everybody uses synthetic clay all the time, but I would venture to tell you that it has changed the game. Here's why it's changed the game for a lot of us, is we combine two products. You take bead maker and this. These guys are going to show them how we do it. And we can take and churn $100 to $125 an hour without ever touching a tool. And so now from there, let's talk about going one step further on decontamination. Let's go on to iron removers. So everybody thinks coatings, but there's all these other things that make coatings better that have also been innovations in the last couple decades. And so, it's really important that we pay attention not to just the big stuff, but the little stuff. And we're going to walk through this right now. So now, takeaways, my thoughts. At the end of this, we're going to give you several takeaways. And I really want to take, Alan, I'm going to have you sit down. That way I'm not tracking you instead of this. And so one of the things I want to do is walk through and there's going to be innovations in the next few years that everybody kind of poo-poos. And let me tell you, in 03, 04, when coatings first started coming out, everybody was poo-pooing them. Did you guys know that? Coatings were not going to last. Coating's not going to last. Coating won't be around. The car companies, by 2010, the car companies will be coating cars. We won't need it as detailers. By 2015, the car, and they did. Nissan and a couple other people played with it. Still might be in the works. We might face that at some point. But right now, we're going to take, and we are on hyperspeed for success, because what's happening is the profits, not only that the coating companies are making from it, but us as detailers are allowing us other opportunities. And so let's walk through some of the amazing creations. Is I was going through a car wash show in Las Vegas, Nevada, way back in the 90s. And some guy walks up to me and he says, "Hey, man, you ever heard of a clay bar?" And it's not in the wrapper, right? And this is an older one right here. And I said, "You mean Play-Doh?" And he goes, No, this is clay. This will take and get the paint smooth." And he hands it to me, and I'm like, "Dude, you're smoking dope." I mean, I'll buy a lot of stuff, but I'm not buying a stick of Play-Doh. And I want to tell you, I got to fess up. I did come home, and I had little kids at the time. I did grab their clay, their Play-Doh, and test it to see if this stuff. And it was designed different. For those that are listening to this, do not try that at home. It was kind of a mess. Just right now. Didn't work out too good. But that's you look at things and you go, how the heck can that work? Now, how important has clay been to our industry? How important has decontaminating paint been to our industry? But yet, a lot of us, it took me about a year to really buy onto this. And then, let me tell you, back then, this big stick of clay was like $37. And if you drop this thing, and guys, we weren't making $100 an hour back then. We weren't making $50 an hour back then. You drop that, I mean, I'll be honest. You're going with the microscope and pulling all the dirt out of it, putting it back to work, because you're like, damn, that's like a half day's wages. There's no way I'm going to let this thing go. Microfiber.
I was going to say, now clay is a household name. I mean, it's pretty much even all our clients know clay. They don't know what it does, right? They think it removes scratches, but they at least know of it.
It has, but how long has it taken for that process? And let me tell you, back then, when we go to events, we would have detailers. This conversation did happen. Hey, man, are you actually claying cars? Do you clay cars? I mean, it would be a discussion back then because it was so new. But on the other side, a lot of the guys could afford it. So if you really wanted to be a big shot, as you walk in and say, yeah, you'd be at a show, you'd go up to a booth, you'd buy like 7 jars of clay, and they thought you were a gazillionaire, because it was so expensive back then. So, instead of wearing a Breitling watch or a Rolex, you came sporting 10 things of clay, and man, you were the real deal, back then. And microfiber, I want to take it. I'm going to bring a kit on. This is a kit. This is up in our little museum we've got in Diane's office. Is I co-created this kit with Shell Oil. We started working on this in 1999. This was one of the first sets of microfiber towels ever offered retail, ever. Now, I was wrong, Chris, because I gave you a price the other day. This is a 2 set.
Yeah.
There's 2 towels in there. They're color-coded. The edges are colored. And so what we did is, in the air care guide we wrote, is one was used only for the windscreen. The other one was for the body of the airplane. $32 for a 2-pack. Back in 2000. Any guesses of who that manufacturer was who was bringing in one of the earliest? They're a giant in the industry. Guess who we got all of our microfiber from? Shell Oil. Any guesses? They were way ahead of the time, and a lot of people don't know this. Lake Country Manufacturing.
Oh, really?
Lake Country Manufacturing was one of the earliest to import microfibers. Now, I already knew about microfibers. I was the one that told them about it. We had to go source it. They were one of the only sources that we could get it from. Right? I mean, is that a trip?
Yeah.
Now you look at and I remember the first time, same show. It wasn't SEMA that I learned about this. It was at a car wash show. Some guy comes in the aisle and he goes, hey, man, you ever seen microfiber towel? Yeah, I've seen a towel before. No, microfiber towel. And back then, the texture is different. You know how microfiber grabs your hands if you got –
Yeah.
Back then, it was even more. And he put that thing across my hands and feeling that texture. And I was like, oh, God, what the hell is that? It just felt – you'd never felt anything like that before. Now, that one did catch on pretty cool. I'll be honest, I took and bought in, and I bought, a couple microfiber towels right then and there from the guy. And I'm thinking the company's still there. It's like Joe the Towel Guy or something like that. He's in the car wash industry. And so I bought a couple dozen microfibers like right then and there, and we were hooked. And again, man, they were really expensive back then. And again, you came sporting up at SEMA or something like that, holding some microfibers, you were king. It was real simple living back then. We didn't get into all this fancy stuff. And then there's discussions on that. Hey, are you using microfiber? I mean, there was discussions of people asking you if you're claying or microfibering. In the late 90s, steam came into play. Look at the part that steam plays now. Is that when we got our steamer in the 90s, there was like 3 detailers in Texas and myself and my buddy here in California that were utilizing steam. And I remember coming out and we just didn't know how to use it. We had to figure it out. There's no brackets to hold the towels on. They were small. They were really small European-made units. And so, as soon as I saw that, I adapted. And there's a reason why I'm telling you all this. So, we saw those major innovations in the early days. But in between, where I say that detailing got put on to hyper success, is a lot of things started happening too. And that was relationships. In 2005, there was a small group of detailers, very small group, about half of them still around. And we would get together at different events. And we started talking and communicating because back then, detailers didn't talk or communicate. We hated each other, or they hated each other. But a group of us, and I won't even try to name them all because I do a disservice by leaving one person out. I do be a disservice, but I've talked about it many times. You know what, Chris? We need to go on the hunt and find as many of them that we can and bring them on. Because
you're gonna have to start a list because I definitely don't know who they are.
Logan and I will start that list, but we'll do that because a lot of the main characters are still around, and it'd be cool. It'd be cool is to try to get them all together again. and just record that, because it wouldn't be an hour. It'd be worth something just to sit down with these individuals, because man, I mean, the industry was lifted at that time, starting in 05. It went a different direction. Here's why: is we all agreed. Many of us were already successful, but we wanted to bring the whole, a rising tide lifts all ships, and we wanted to start bringing detailing up, because all of us were fighting with the same thing that, a lot of us talk about today is underdog, people bidding you, doing crappy work, going out and selling code. All these things were going on, but at a much greater now. And there was no combating it back then. And you just had to either dominate, survive. And I'll be honest, we were assholes to each other. That's probably where some of the ugliness comes from. Because listen, if you try to reach out to somebody, and if they hit back on you, you just hit them with a stick. You just beat them. You just beat them. And that's where the word gypsy comes from. It's also about the time, 2006, that the detail mafia started coming together. And for the industry, it's not a big deal. But for me and a lot of other people in the industry that share things, it's a very big deal, because a lot of like-minded people came together, and we started taking and putting serious business packages together. The IDA, there was different groups that were being born, but the IDA came about, and that was a big time for the industry. It still is. And then events is that, our first time all meeting at SEMA is that I think we gathered up eight or 10 detailers. That was it. And then the next time, I think we got up to about 48. When we had our party 8 or 9 years ago, I don't know, what's this going to be? What year is this going to be? Missed last year, so 9 years.
No, I don't know what number. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 9 years. But that first year was 48. Last year was, last time we had SEMA was we're at 400. So it's grown a little bit. And so I mention those things because here's what happened that first time of 9 years ago, 10 years ago, when we decided to throw a party and get everybody together. Everybody was still a little offish. They weren't sure how to handle each other. In this last time, everybody's hugging, and I won't say it was a hug fest, because there's people there that can't stand each other. But here's the deal. We've also matured past that. Is I've watched fights go down, industry fights. I've watched them. We used to say we were going to put an octagon together, for detailing, and just let them go at it. I'd actually like a piece of that. If I could. There's a couple people I'd invite into that. Dry sanding started coming into play. This is the same time frame, and again, for a lot of people, it hasn't impacted. For a lot, it really has. For the industry, it's really impacted because the quality of papers and what we're able to do is getting better and better. So now the big innovations. Let's talk about some big innovations and what they've done. And I really want you guys to pay attention to what I'm going to say here, is because I'm going to tie it in to how all of you as detailers on the ground in the trenches can take and change your perception in the way that you market your company. Coatings. Again, there's a lot of supply tools. There's a lot of things that make coating great, but coating alone, and I'm gonna call something out right now. Coating alone has changed the industry, and the company that changed it the most. A lot of great companies. We've got our own coating. Got my name on a couple boxes of coating right over here, but I'm going to give credit where credit's due. And Ceramic Pro put coatings on the map for all of us. Yep. Now, there's a lot of other great coatings out there. Here's why. There's two companies I'm going to bring up right now that have changed the game, and I want you to watch how they market, because we talk about this a lot in our companies. Is that I want you to think about two companies, Ceramic Pro and Rupes. Okay, a coating company and a polisher company, right? Tool company. Wrong. You know what both those companies are? They're marketing companies. They're marketing companies that happen to make great products. But you look at the way both those companies market themselves, love or hate them, doesn't matter, is that both of those companies are marketing companies. You look at what Chick-fil-A is. Chick-fil-A is a restaurant. They're a marketing company. In-N-Out Burger, they're a marketing company. The best detailers, we talked about this all week, is that you really need to become a marketing company. Now, it doesn't mean that your product's bad. Doesn't it? And look at the loyalty that both of those companies got. You guys are going to be all over Rupes Tools, later this week. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're full of it, I'm just saying that before they're anything, they've become a marketing company. And here's what all of us need to learn from that is that we need to take and learn how to do the same exact thing. And I'm going to make some points here in a little while that will lock that in for all of you on a local level. DA polishers, large throw, forced action, all those things completely changed the game for us. You look back at, when we were doing aircraft, big aircraft, we really got successful at doing big aircraft. I would have given I probably wouldn't have. Have to talk to Mike Phillips first about giving my right leg, for a polisher. But I know, Mike, I love it. We can say that. He always calls me bald, so we can say that. So here's the deal: is if you would have seen the profitability we could have made more money with whether it's a flex forced action or a Mark III 15, doesn't matter. If we would have had those 10, 15 years before they came out, my net worth would be double. I want to say that again. A tool could have doubled my net worth. Why? Because the quality would have went up and the time involved in doing the project would have been reduced by half. Yeah. So look at the innovation that's happened in recent years. This is recent. This is some of you that are very young, 10 years ago is a long time ago, but it isn't. In the grand scheme of things, it's really a short time period. And, I go back every once in a while, I grab that first generation 15 or 21, and then I grab and I put the Mark III in my hands, and it's like, wow. I mean, that first generation, we thought, holy shit, this is badass. Now you put that, still a badass tool, but you put the Mark III in your hands, and you don't want to pick up the first generation anymore, And it's, you look at the first generations of 911s, I'm wondering if my first generation Rupus tools are going to worth me any money like the Porsches. I wonder if I should keep.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's the same with technology. Although maybe a little bit. I mean, people might be into old iPhones, but they sure don't work.
Yeah, exactly. So, now here's this is where I'm going to kind of start tripping our minds up a little bit. Is the development of our minds in the detailing industry has probably been the biggest change. Here's why is that we are now really coaching. These guys will tell you I'm hammering them. Every aspect, every step of everything, all the way, especially when they get over to me in the next 3 days, 2.5 days, is going to be tying everything in to entrepreneurship. Is that no longer can we just be addicted to shine. You can have that shine addiction and you can do amazing things with your hands, but it's got to take and turn into profits, and it's got to grow in profits, and it's constantly got to escalate in profits. And that's where we're changing a lot. So what's ahead? So what's going on? Where are we going? What kind of innovations are going to be happening or happening right now? As I mentioned, people, we've got a much higher level of educated professional coming into the detailing industry. And let me tell you, is if you're not educating yourself, and I mean going out and taking junior college classes in finance. I mean going out, and you don't have to go get your degree, but you better be financial savvy, because these individuals coming in, and you can say, I don't see it. We do. That's what my industry is. That's what I do. Is we train people. Yeah, we train. We've got great skills that we share. But what we do is build entrepreneurs. It's our job. And I'm telling you right now, if you're not taking and paying attention and you're not educating yourself, there's going to be somebody that comes into this industry. Just because you've been in it a long time doesn't mean that you're safe. Is that, matter of fact, I would try to take out the most popular and most long-term shops in an industry by being smarter than them. Simple as that. Just by being smarter than them. Listen, there's a lot of dumb shits in our industry, but there's some brilliant people. And not only are there brilliant people coming in, there's a massive group of people that weren't so brilliant that have made themselves brilliant. Listen to that. Yeah. Is that the old school detailers, and they've looked at it, they've opened their eyes and said, it can't be as business as usual anymore. is I got to change my thinking because this dude's coming in and changing it up. And let me tell you, more and more, you can see it all over online, is that we're getting detailing companies that are starting to be marketing companies. They're not just detailers, they're marketing companies. And that's dangerous if you're in their market, especially if they can tie in and they really know what they're doing. And if they got good personalities and they're really good at connecting with people, I would really be watching that competitor very closely, and I'd be sharpening your skills. Next, education is we are seeing there's so many great. I mean, you go online, you can become YouTube certified if you want to, but there is good information to watch. I mean, I watch stuff, not a lot. I'm careful of what garbage or wealth I allow into my mind, because there's a lot of garbage out there, and you got to be able to sort through it, and you got to be able to do a little research and look at who's telling you what they're telling you, and is it theory or is it proven? I can tell you something right now, is that if it exits my lips, it's 99.9% of the time not a theory. Is I'm very cautious to say things. I really think things out pretty hard. And on our group, the entrepreneurs I surround myself with, we have our theory, our saying, our tagline is no theories. Is now when new opportunities arise, it's all theories, when it comes up. But we quickly eat it up, spit it out, re-eat it, rethink it, reprocess it, and there's a couple hundred of us that do that. So we can do it pretty rapidly, and then it goes out from the larger group to a smaller group to a smaller group. We compact it, we learn it, and then we start talking about it. And so you got to make sure that the people that you're listening to, is it bullshit, something that they've heard that they're regurgitating, or is it something that they've actually lived through? Tribal knowledge can be very powerful both ways. And so if a person's tribal knowledge is they're their only tribe member, good luck. That's tough. And you've got to have a larger tribe these days. You've got to take and come in. There's a reason why the military works in packs. There's a reason why, if you go to Tesla, is they don't listen to everything their fearless leader says alone. That's what he brings experts in for. And so you need to take and really look at things and get outside of your own mind. And you got to look at where your influence is coming from. I'm telling you, you're not going to you need to start going.
Yeah. You got choppy again just now. Let's give it a second. I'm sure it'll come back. But
I lost technical issues.
Yeah, I can see it allows me to monitor your connection strength, and right when you get choppy, the connection strength drops. So
yeah, frustrated.
Yeah, we gotta look into this a little bit more, but it's hopefully it comes back in just a second. Yeah, you're frozen. Come on. Yeah, it's shoot. Let's see. Yeah, I know I'm loud and clear, guys. Sorry. Well, if Renny can hear me, he might need to drop out and come back.
Everything's COVID.
Oh, so you're back again.
Okay, well, let's see what we can do. This is really frustrating. I'm showing my bar strength here is good. It's really high.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to do some testing when I'm there tomorrow.
Cool.
We'll see.
Well, let's see if we can wrap this up real quick so we can get. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I mean, nothing we can do about it. This is weird. We've had them out several times. So, all right. So let's run into this. Is that where are we headed? Where's the takeaway? So before we do that, we want to thank Dr. Color Chip. Dr. Color Chip, we're going to have Tony, a good friend of mine. He's going to be out soon. You know, we've got all the COVID stuff behind us, hopefully, and we're going to be doing some training. I'll tell you, if you're not using their system for touch up, it's pretty dang amazing. I mean, it's super simple. Color match is 100%. It's easy and it's really affordable, really high quality. So watch out.
They did a cool color match for us for Air Force One.
They did. I think we're the only one to have that color, you know? So matter of fact, I just got a call. I'll share that offline with you. I guess they're facing an issue and they got some little specks or something that's going on the blue on Air Force One. And so I took a picture of that, sent it over to them, and they said, "Is it the right color?" And I said, "It's 100% the right color. Just get a hold of Tony and order it up." So pretty cool that we've been able to take and color match. I won't tell you how we did that because it's pretty hard to come across what it is. You know, I mean, it's blue. Everybody knows that, but the actual color match it, they're not real open on what color that is. You know, it was kind of weird to do it. So hey, let's last item. Let's jump in. Is that I think that I was sharing the other day, and I think we're headed for some tool renovations. We saw Lake Country come out with that. Here's the deal. Whether you like an innovation or dislike an innovation leads to new innovation. And so I feel that we are on the cusp of seeing in the next couple of years a new wave of tooling. And what is it? Do I mean a polisher? I don't know. I don't know because I've stopped trying to guess because, you know, you look at steamers. I would have never dreamed that a steamer would be as important to detailing as it is that first couple weeks we had it. And then the original ones are up in Diane's office. And I did a video recently that showed them and we just wore those things out. And we had them in every location. So it was pretty major.
Well, you know, I think we're starting to see that one of the next innovations in tools is the battery powered tools.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, if you're under 40 in the industry, I think in your career, you will have a time frame where you don't even use corded tools or very, very seldom because the battery technology is going to get so good that it will power up and it will bring the power and it will bring the, muscle up to the point where we need it, you know, on the corded tools now. There's also some really cool things coming down that I was just alluded to on a new tool that's being developed that I can't go into. That's just you think of it, it's really a simple idea that they're going to introduce, but it's really powerful. And so I think that we're into that across the board. I think we're going to see a lot of cool things. I think we're going to continually see products change. I think we're going to see the one steps get better and better where you can take and you can cut or polish with a product, kind of a last cut type thing, last cut plus all these new, I can take and name a half dozen companies in the last year that are really starting to take, and there's so many cool products coming out. I can't even keep on testing them, you know, and so it's unreal. So I think that's what's going to happen. But the most important takeaways is one of the innovations that I think that everybody needs to be onto because, and I keep talking about it, is software. We've talked about it a lot here. It's more than just tracking your customers. It's more than just tracking your money, which is really important. It's staying in constant contact with your customers. It's going back and marketing to your existing client base versus trying to constantly reinvent new customers. And those detailing professionals that are utilizing software to the fullest are going to move ahead rapidly in front of those that are not. Because here's the deal. I don't care if it costs you $200 a month. I don't know a software that does. Is that expensive? That's cheap. Listen, I heard a quote the other day, and I love this quote. If you can buy it for money, it's cheap. What's that mean? If it saves you your time, it's cheap. Now there's a limit to that, right? But here's the deal. Software is cheap, and it's a game changer all the way across. Next is that our marketing's got to change. Even the guy or gal that's riding a bicycle as a primary source of transportation needs to know who you are and what you do in your town. Everybody needs to know who you are. You need to be likable. You need to be lovable. You need to be connected. You need to be nice. You need to be supportive. You need to be a part of your community, and you need to love that community to no end, and people need to love you back. That's called having a fan base. I don't want customers. I want fans. Now, are we going to call them that? No. But you look at the value of a fan versus a customer versus a client, all these different things. You know, I had an attorney one day ask me, hey, he goes, hey, you know, I've always noticed, why do you call me a client instead of a customer? I said, because Walmart has customers. Simple as that. Walmart's got customers. And I just didn't, I had to project out that image that I had of my customers, of my clients. I had to have it start here and end with them, and it worked. It worked. Now, next is that what's the big takeaway? Is us connecting. Us connecting at events, us connecting online, us connecting with the IDA, us connecting at a very personal level. Is that you need to be reaching out to other detailers in your marketplace and be nice to each other. Now, you got to be very careful. A lot of detailers don't know this. You cannot monopolize the market. It talks about fixed prices. You can share each other's menus. You can know what each other are charging, but you got to be very careful about taking and fixing prices. A lot of that going on right now. And I'm always cautious to, when I see that happening on forums, is guys got to be careful. You guys can't go in there and start talking about that, because you know what? We're getting eyes on our industry like we've never gotten eyes on our industry before. And so I think that us, all of us, coming together and becoming closer, getting to know each other, and then supporting each other, that's the greatest asset we've got. And so this is a fun one. I hope that going back in history kind of takes you forward, and pay attention to things. I will end with this. Many of you have heard the story before. Oshkosh Air Show. I was representing Shell Oil. We just developed this kit that I showed you. I spoke on their behalf. I got to speak. It was awesome. It was amazing times of my life. And this mad scientist guy, you know, hey, Chris, remember the movie Weird Science?
Yeah.
I swear you not, it was the guy from Weird Science, man. I swear you, I mean, lab coat all, pins coming out, hair nuts, you know, glasses all broke and put back together. And he hands me this little thing, it was a square, it was white. And he goes, man, I've heard you speak like 3 or 4 times now. I want to bring you in. And he literally handed me a proposition. He wanted to give me 25% of his company. He goes, this right here, this tool right here is one of the best cleaners you've ever used. Go home and use it. And I said, okay. So I'm really interested in it. So, you know, I get home a couple weeks later and I start rubbing it, you know, stuff down that's dirty, and it's just false. You know, it's just an absolute mess. Guys call me up. He's calling me up. He's calling me up for about 9 months. He's calling me up. Blew him off. And I did listen to one of his voicemails, and he says, listen, on the cusp of selling this thing to a big company, you need to call me back because I need your help. I'm not comfortable going to these meetings and being a spokesperson. I want you to come in. And I didn't. And he sent me another box of the products with instructions. What did I not do?
You didn't test it, did you?
I didn't read the instructions. And I had no idea that you're supposed to get a magic eraser pad wet. And I saw him about 2 years later, and my 25% would have been just shy of $3 million. Had I taken the call, had I given the guy respect, because here's what it was. It was a lack of respect, and I didn't think that little tiny pad was innovation enough to pay attention to anything. So my moral of the story is, A, always be respectful, take the meeting, return the call, and innovation can come in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to have a plug on it, and it doesn't have to come in a little tiny bottle that costs $200. It comes in many, many ways. So, hey, guys, go out, have a blessed day. Reach out to each other, support each other. Thanks for coming on. Hope you enjoyed this. We want to thank again Dr. Coachip for the support and giving you the 3 highlights of the day. Also, we want to thank P&S Products for always supporting us and so forth. Go check out their websites. You guys take care. We'll see you next time. Happy detailing all.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah.